Dave and Fiona McDonald. Now, what you don't realise is, there you go, Fiona, is that our own Jeff Kush, we say our own Jeff Kushkiri, but it's their own Jeff Kushkiri, that's right. Because he was on staff here, that's why. But Jeff Kushkiri came to know the Lord through the ministry of Dave and Fiona. They started a university ministry 21 years ago.
1990.
1990. No, that's 25, bro. That's,
I know.
Yeah. You're older than MBM.
Yes.
Yeah, we started in 91. Yeah, so that's and we're celebrating it. It's 26 years ago. They started a university ministry that's going strong. And then from that, church plants have followed. It's been really exciting to see the work that they have done. God has done through them in Canberra and beyond. But today we're here to hear about your story, Dave, about how you've journeyed through cancer. A number of years ago, you were getting ready to go to Darwin for a new stage in your life when the doctors gave you a diagnosis. Can you walk us through that story?
Yeah, we were moving to just south of Darwin, a place called Palmerston, to start a new church, and had a team of people, bought a house up there. Fiona got a job, shipped all our belongings up. We're just saying goodbye, literally, and I started to feel unwell, ended up in hospital, expected to come home that day, but I was told instead that I had lung cancer. I wasn't a smoker, so I was totally surprised. And then I was told that it was stage 4, it was incurable, and I probably would see the following Christmas.
Wow. Heading for a ministry change and being told your days were numbered in a very conscious way. Can you just walk us through kind of emotionally and spiritually how you journeyed through that?
It was really very difficult. I went into hospital feeling relatively okay, but my body went into shutdown, and there were times when, in a period of 2 to 3 weeks, weren't sure whether I was going to live or die, whether I'd come home. I was told by the oncologist that because the cancer had spread, that it was incurable, they couldn't operate. They'd probably just try and contain it or hold it, slow it down. So it went from excitement about a possible future serving God in the north of Australia to what on earth are you doing? And I remember going through very, very dark periods, wondering why this was happening, even questioning my faith. And I'd been a minister for many years, talking to people about hope beyond death, and now I was told that I was dying, and I had to work out whether I really believed it.
What was helpful through that journey?
Look, simple things that are helpful to us at any time. I think that people pointed me to the Bible, so there were some great passages of the Bible that reminded me of resurrection and hope and God's comfort and encouragement. People prayed with me and encouraged me to pray, and some of those prayers were literally crying out through tears. And the love of Fiona and family and friends and both people within the church and some mates who aren't Christians who were just really supportive and encouraging.
And can you just share, usually there's unhelpful things that are said at this time so that we can learn and perhaps not make the same mistake. What was unhelpful?
Well, I'll tell you one story. There's a friend who's a minister, and they're supposed to know what to say, right? So the first time I saw him a few months later, he went for a little walk with me and he said, "Yeah, my cat died of cancer." And then he went on to tell me how gruesome it was when the cat died. And I'm thinking, mate, your pastoral skills are outstanding.
Did you tell him that?
I don't think so.
That's a shame.
Is this live? Can I give a shout out to this friend?
It will be recorded, and I'm sure he knows.
Yeah, sometimes people say dumb things, but look, if you're thinking about whether to speak to somebody who has cancer, it's better to say dumb things and be there for them than to shy away because you're scared of saying the wrong things. And if you're wondering what to say, here's a tip. This will start it well. I don't know what to say.
That's helpful to hear. Yeah. Well, Fiona, you too were journeying, planning to go to Darwin. Was it your idea to go to Darwin?
It was my idea to leave Canberra. I've been doing Aboriginal health for the last however many years, so that was partly why Darwin was there.
Okay. So you're a wife and a doctor seeing your husband who you love being told that he had months to live, a bit over a year to live. What was going on for you?
Yeah, it was pretty devastating. Because we were moving to Darwin, because we were starting a new venture with God, I figured that some sort of opposition would happen. So I'd actually been mentally preparing myself for whatever was going to come. So I'd, several years beforehand, had written a series of Bible studies on suffering for some med students. And unfortunately, I just happened to be doing again with another wife and a mother and her daughter. And that was, so I'd got my head around suffering again just before we left. And for the last children's program that I was doing before I left, I thought, I need to do the full armour of God. So we'd done that passage, and I had the Colin Buchanan song, "Put on the armour of God, put it on," running around and around and around in my head. But cancer was certainly not what I was anticipating. David had said that morning, I got a bit of pain in my chest, and I'd asked all the heart attack questions, and I'd gone to work that day saying to my nurse, there's something not right. And so when I got the phone call at work to say, your husband's in hospital, I thought, oh yeah, it's his heart. So off we went. But I was there in the room when they put up the CT scan that showed the cancer, and I just said to God, that was not what I was expecting. And that's what cancer does for people. You seem to be healthy. I have patients come in, they seem to be healthy, and then you have to tell them this devastating news, and it's devastating. And you see their whole life is just suddenly turned upside down, and our life was held hijacked by a cancer that was 2.6 centimetres large. And it's devastating. And what do? So he's sick. I'm trying to hold it all together for the kids, because we still had 2 kids in uni, 2 kids at high school. All our belongings are elsewhere. We're camped in our own house. I'm trying to hold it all together, trying to make sense of what's going on, trying to communicate with the specialists who, like to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning just as you're trying to get the kids out the door to school, etc. So it's really hard work. But fortunately for me, there was God, and I just kept hanging on to him. There was no other option but to hang on to God. And I don't know how people who don't have God cope, because I certainly wouldn't have. But also the prayers of people. So you can't pray when you're there. You just, there's no words left. But everybody else is praying for you. They're saying all the right words that you can't think of. And so they're praying. And then it's figuring out, well, how are we going to use this for God's glory, and going on from there.
Fiona, that's so helpful. And you have used it for God's glory, both of you. Dave, I think someone said about how we'll be able to bless others through this. And I think of that John Piper book, Don't Waste Your Cancer. Well, if anyone has not wasted their cancer, it's been you. Can you just tell us how you've been able to bless others from the vantage point of having cancer?
Yeah, the Bible actually says at one point that we should try and be all things to all people to communicate the truth. So for Paul, he said, I'm a Jew to the Jews, or a Greek to the Greek, or a Maltese to the Maltesers, or whatever. But I didn't realise that it could mean that you have cancer to reach people with cancer. And none of us know what each other's going through, but there is something about having a serious diagnosis that's opened up opportunities to talk with other people, and eventually to put some of those thoughts into a book, and to be able to encourage people with a hope that is greater than cure, that is a hope that will take us through into the next life because of what God has done. And it's been a joy actually to see people grapple with that, and to see some lives really changed.
Come to know Christ. I was with Dave, we're on a committee together, the Gospel Coalition of Australia, and just being with Dave over a 2-day period and watching how him following up people who he's heard have got cancer through Facebook appropriately, discreetly, and how many, just in that brief little window, I saw a man use what is a tragedy in some ways, and a liability for the glory of God. And you guys have been a terrific encouragement. I just want to say there's been a watching community, Christian and non-Christian, within your church, Canberra, and really around the world. And a lot of these guys wouldn't know, but let me just say, for many of us who do know, you've been a terrific encouragement, both of you, and we thank God for your faithfulness during this time. Thanks, guys. Let's give them a round of applause.